So the time's 5:34 a.m. on Friday the 7th of March 2024. And I have, I've really come a long way in the past 24 hours. And for that, I'm really, really grateful. So basically, let me just tell you briefly, I'll try to keep it short. I saw the, I did the H. pylori stuff. Didn't seem to do much. I probably destroyed my system a little bit, but at least that's another thing ticked off. And then I saw a visceral osteopath who deals with like the diaphragm, the stomach, that kind of area. And she did all this, massaging and stuff on this area. And she said, like, several of the ligaments in my stomach were really tight. Like they'd hurt quite a bit when she was poking around. She said, I clearly had a lot of, stress in the body and stuff. I told her about the reflux, and all that stuff. And it was my thinking that, by relaxing this area, that's going to, relax the stomach, which is not going to give you much reflux and stuff. It kind of helped. But what seemed to more help on the way home was I was doing this breathing exercise, which was you take everything in and you tense everything up like this. And then tense everything up and hold it as long as you can and then let go. And it was kind of more that seemed to make a big difference. Because it adds to my scene, because all the breathing muscles are engaged, obviously. So I guess this is a week. This is almost a week later to the last video. But it's like, because I've got this recording session on Saturday, which is now tomorrow actually. I was basically throwing absolutely everything at it because I have to be ready for this thing. And I'm not saying I will be ready, but I'm definitely in a much better place now than I was. And the reason for that is two things. One is I went to see my one of my old vocal coach, he's like a pop rock singer. He's really, really good. And I was able to do a lot of the things that he was asking me to do. But that is, I would say, partly, if not mainly, due to the appointment that I had previous to that, the previous turning up, which was with a chiropractor / kinesiologist. Now, I didn't know what a kinesiologist was, but they deal with the body as a whole and, how the different nerves affect different parts of the body, etc. And I found about this guy through someone at work who I invited to my birthday party that's coming up recently, because we get on quite well. And I said, "Oh, do you have acid reflux?" Because he seemed to talk a bit similar to me, like a bit kind of inside of himself. And I said, "Oh, dude, you had reflux." He said, "Oh no, I had other, things as a kid. I think scoliosis. I'm not going to name this person, but I had scoliosis as a kid, and I went to all these different chiros, then I landed on this one, and he was a really good guy. So, and then he said, he then did a bunch of tests to see what I was, what would I react to. So I'd hold my, arm out, and he would press down on it, and I'd be strong. And then he'd put something near my nose or something, and then suddenly it would drop. And I was like, wow, that sounds amazing. I need to go see this guy. And then I was able to get an appointment for the next day, which was yesterday. So I went, and he asked me all these questions about my, history and story. I told him, I have 2 operations on my nose, had tongue tie surgery, all these different diets, that's just kind of scratching the surface. But anyway, I've done all these things. And I said to him, and often it feels like I don't even have a diaphragm. And he was like, okay. He did a bunch of these different tests. But again, like I'd hold my hand up and he'd press down. And one of the things was that I have no real allergies, but I do have a high histamine count. Like I still get a lot of inflammation in my nose, right? So I'd be really strong everywhere. And then he'd press near here around my nose, and I'd get quite weak. She was like, right. So clearly anything that happens, it goes straight to your nose, you get a reaction immediately there. He also did another thing, which was I'd be singing, and then he'd poke around near my diaphragm. I could completely, my hand would drop because it was like so weak in there. And I was like, well, yeah, this feels like I don't even have a diaphragm. Now, years ago, I had a fractured shoulder from playing a game called Hollandse Leeuwen. I don't know if you, people from the Netherlands, you might know this game. But while playing it years ago, I tried to tackle this guy because everyone else had given up. It's ironic because it's similar to my story. It's like, yeah, anyway, it's like I really wanted to take out the last person, but he was too difficult. So everyone had given up, and I was trying to get this guy. And I then, as a result, injured myself in the process, which is also ironic because that's similar to my situation on this health journey. But yeah, anyway, so I go to tackle this guy, and he's not giving up. He keeps going to the other line. I keep trying to get him, and then one time I tried to get him, and he kind of ducks down, and as a result, I kind of go over the top of him, and he then kind of stands up. So I'm now kind of on top of his shoulders, and then I fall from that height. So it's maybe a couple meters onto the ground, or just under 2 meters onto the ground. It's 1.8 something, I don't know, onto the ground. Fractured shoulder here. This whole area really, really painful. As a result, my right shoulder often always hangs lower than my left. I do stretches for it, but it's never going to quite regain its mobility. And when I lift my hands up like this, the right one can never quite go all the way. Anyway, as a result of that, my neck is also slightly out of alignment as well. A bit of a curve in there, I think, as well. Anyway, back to the appointment yesterday, and because I was saying, yeah, it feels like I don't have a diaphragm. Like when I'm swimming, like, I don't feel that there. And when I'm singing well, I obviously feel that. And he was like, okay, well, your neck's out of alignment, so let's look at these two things here, because there's a lot of tension there, and even since the tongue operation, that's not quite gone. So I told him about that, and he's like, okay, well, did you know that here and here is connected to your, I think it's the C3 nerve, which connects to your diaphragm? And I was like, okay, tell me more. So he then, I kid you not, he applied pressure here. I've got this, I don't know if you can see this. Oh, I don't know if you can see this, but I've got this tape here. You see that? Yeah, I don't know if can you see that? I've got this tape here, got this skin colour, so I can't really, yeah. Similar to my complexion, so yeah. Anyway, so he applied pressure there, right? And then he was like, now breathe. And I could just breathe straight to my belly. And that doesn't sound crazy to a lot of you because that might be normal, or maybe you've got a similar situation, but it's like my diaphragm, I couldn't like activate it before, but when he applied pressure and like kind of pulled it where it should be, because my head's always like this, but like pulled it this way, suddenly I could breathe so much better here. It was, yeah, when he did that, I was like, oh my goodness, you've just like basically discovered that I've got, because my head's always like this, it's always, pulling on this thing, and it's messing around with my breathing. As a result, I've got this like hypersensitivity. It's like, and it applies to reflux. It's like, even though there's not much irritating the throat, but I'll be like hypersensitive to it. Yeah, so it's like, and maybe partly at night, like I'm, stressed because like I'm not breathing properly. So then in the morning, I'm like completely dry in the throat because I have to breathe like shallow and everything. And it doesn't matter how many breathing exercises I do. It's like I still wouldn't have it. Like I would do Wim Hof stuff for like an hour, and like it would help, but it wouldn't get the result I needed, because I wouldn't be able to use it properly. But it's like, because this thing is connected to here, I was not able to get the full benefit of that by, like, you know, pulling this on. And I'm obviously going to work with him a lot over the next few weeks. It was so great getting to know him. And we were talking for like 1 hour. We could have talked for 2 hours. And at one point he took out a trumpet to see how my diaphragm was and stuff. And interestingly, because I've done so much singing, it's like I was quite strong, apart from obviously the diaphragm there, when I was singing and stuff. But when I was doing the trumpet, which is using my lips to you know, make that sound, I was weak all over. It didn't matter where you touched me, here, or whatever. It was weak. And also it was weak even just when talking in the large intestine. Everywhere else is kind of fine, as I said, apart from the nose and stuff. And also when singing anywhere on the face, I'd also go weak as well. Go see a kinesiologist if you have seemingly tried everything and maybe you've had a sporting injury or you've struggled to feel your diaphragm or whatever, because that was like life-changing, honestly. Yeah, like it's, what's it, like 5:45 a.m. Now, I didn't go to sleep properly because I was, you know, watching a movie with my girlfriend as part of our, what we call our birthday week, because we're born 6 days apart. So we do something every day of the 7 days. So we had a bit of a date night, but yeah, anyway. So I've been, I went to sleep fairly late, maybe like 1 o'clock or 12 o'clock. To be fair, that's not that late for me. Anyway, I didn't go to bed properly. My phone was, you know, not charged and whatever, and, you know, just fell asleep. Didn't have any water or anything, well, not much anyway. Anyway, I woke up, you know, vocals had to take a bit to get better, but after 5 minutes, it was so much easier to talk and stuff, because like a night of actually breathing with the proper muscles here. So I can feel, I can just be way more expansive, and it's just incredible. And that's just with this tape on, right? Like when we sort it out properly and apply proper pressure and everything, that's going to make a big difference. Everyone knows sing from the diaphragm. But if you can't feel it, what's the point? What's the point? Yeah. If it's all right with you guys, I'm going to read a psalm to you that I found was very comforting. Yeah, through this journey. I only discovered it recently, but I thought I'd share it because it really speaks to me. It's going to take a short while, so just bear with me. This is Psalm 30, King James Version. I will extol thee, O Lord, for thou hast lifted me up, and hast not made my foes to rejoice over me. O Lord my God, I cried unto thee, and thou hast healed me. O Lord, thou hast brought up my soul from the grave. Thou hast kept me alive, that I should not go down to the pit. Sing unto the Lord, O ye saints of his, and give thanks at the remembrance of his holiness. For his anger endureth but a moment, in his favour is life. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. And in my prosperity I said, I shall never be moved. Lord, by thy favour thou hast made my mountain to stand strong. Thou didst hide thy face, and I was troubled. I cried to thee, O Lord, and unto the Lord I made supplication. What profit is there in my blood? When I go down to the pit, shall the dust praise thee? Shall it declare thy truth? Hear, O Lord, and have mercy upon me. Lord, be thou my helper. Thou hast turned for me my mourning into dancing. Thou hast put off my sackcloth and girded me with gladness, to the end that my glory may sing praise to thee and not be silent. O Lord my God, I will give thanks unto thee forever.